Greetings, fellow action figure connoisseurs, and welcome to another episode of Digital Caveman Presents Transformers Friday. I, as always, am your host, the Digital Caveman, and today I will be presenting you with Transformers Legacy Leader Class Blitzwing. Thank you for watching this video, or any of my other videos that you may have run across, which I hope is all of them. Only support from viewers like you make this programming possible. Each view does count, and I do appreciate each and every single view that I receive. Thank you, and thank you so very much for supporting this channel through viewing. Comment below, like, share, subscribe if you'd like to see more reviews, or just help the channel out further, or both, that's even better. And don't forget to ding that bell so that in the future you will be notified as my new content becomes available. And with all that said, let's get into it! Let's start things off as we normally do here on Digital Caveman Presents with a look at the packaging. If I can get a hold of it. Transformers Legacy. And on the front, nice artwork of Blitzwing in all three of his modes. Blitzwing, Decepticon, Transformers, Generations to Tomy. Transformers Legacy. Hasbro print, 8 and up, leader class. On the bottom, recycled print, small print, fine print, legalese print, made in Vietnam print, symbols I'm not going to learn, a barcode, and includes figure, 3 accessories, and instructions. On this side, some nice artwork of Blitzwing in his 2 alt modes. And on this side, the Decepticon Legacy artwork that we are becoming accustomed to. Authentic Transformers Legacy. Then on the back, Transformers, more than meets the eye. Blitzwing transforms in 32 steps from robot to plane, and then 41 steps to the tank. Parents, scan this! Hasbro print. Warning, don't stick things in your pie hole that don't belong there. Don't give it to babies. And some more small, fine, and legalese print. And before I said made in China print, but it's not. It's made in Vietnam print, and that thing. So, there we go. A look at the packaging. Let's take a look at the figure and accessories in alt mode number 1, which is a tank. And first of all, we have the instructions here. 8 and up, Legacy, Transformers, Blitzwing, and you know, pretty much Legacy instructions. I'll have to say these, I don't know, this paper feels a little less premium, I guess, than some of the other instructions, and you know, it causes, at least for me, some areas of the instructions to be a little hard to read. That could just be me, though. I might just be getting old, having old eyes and stuff. I don't know. But here we go, handy dandy tweezers. And he has a set of blaster rifles. And they are the same. Nice molded detail on them, and molded in color. And he also has this sword and nice silver paint app here. So those are all neat. Then he has his Pimp Daddy hands and the brackets for them, and they just holes right here. And for both modes, they just, or for robot and jet mode, they just plug in like this. For tank mode, however, there's a hole right here in the top and a peg here on the inside, and you just kind of line those up and install right in there. So there's that. And let's have a look at the tank. Not really a bad looking tank. I mean, we've got jet engines on the back of it, which jet engines on the back of a tank, you know, that sounds like it would be kind of cool anyway. I don't think the treads could keep up though. But then, you know, this odd plain partial nose cone cockpit sticking out, and it does look a little odd. But of course, I mean, you know, the G1 had some odd looking stuff too. And when you're making triple changers, you know, there's going to be some mode suckage going on, whether it's one alt mode or both alt modes or the robot mode. You know, something is going to be sucking when you're adding that other transformation in there. He does have some spinny wheels on the bottom here under the treads, so the treads don't work, but that's okay because they do have a hinge in there in them. And you can see all kind of plain parts on the bottom here. And like I said, that's fine though, because when he's in tank mode, he's going to be sitting like this, yeah? And I have to say, I think I like the tank mode better than the airplane mode, but that's, we'll get to that. The turret does spin a full 360 degrees. And the gun will raise up that far. So that is pretty neat. Now, as far as blast effects go, here's a Transformers blast effect, and nope, doesn't work. Now, for the rocket launcher, whatever you want to call this, it does fit in there. It's a little tight, but it fits, and it doesn't fall out, and you know, it comes right out. Now, as far as will it work with the blasters, they will go on there and stay a little bit. Not much. You kind of have to get them over the thing, and it stretches them out a little bit, and you know, I'm not a big fan of that. So, and then nope, doesn't work right there, doesn't work back there. So that blast effect doesn't work. But what does work is this Marvel Legends Iron Man blast effect, and it will fit in there, although it's not a tight fit, but it's enough for if you want to display it like that or take pictures of it like that, you know, it'll stay in there fine. But if you were to pick it up and you know, it's gonna fall out because it's not a tight fit, but it will work. So there is that is pretty neat. Now, as far as what do you do with the weapons when he's in tank mode, the guns, they have a peg on either side of them, and just peg them in these ports on the side. And there's that. Now these things, you notice this piece sticking out right here, not the round piece, but the like square piece, and then this piece right here. Where it goes is that square piece sits in here, and then that other piece goes over this. And you just do that on both sides. And there you go. And there is his Energon weapons. Now, as far as the sword goes, you can leave it off, or, you know, it will store on that port on the top, because there is a peg right here. And so, you know, you want to keep him in tank mode and you don't want to put up any of the accessories, you can do that. Although it looks silly, and I'm saying it looks silly, and we're talking about a tank with a plain cockpit on the front of it. So there's that. Anyway, so all his weapons will store that way. So that's pretty cool. And again, he rolls fairly okay. Fairly okay. Oh. But that, my friends, does it for a look at the tank mode and accessories. Let's do some alt mode comparisons. And first up, we have the Titans Returns Voyager class. I think it was Voyager class. Blitzwing. And this is the same mold that they used for that Megatron Headmaster. And I mean, the tank mode looks okay. I mean, there are some issues with it, like the wings and the turret and jet engines in the front. But you know, that's not for this video. That's something different. But he does have a couple of anyway, does have a seat there for his Headmaster, because this version of him is Headmaster. And now let's compare him up with his buddy. At least I always thought they were buddies. Astro Train. And this is the Siege, War for Cybertron Siege Astro Train. And again, he's got his car, I guess you could call it, piece on him too. So that's how they compare up in their land vehicle modes. And of course, with me, as always, is Titans Returns Legends class Bumblebee. And lastly, we have the Amazon exclusive War for Cybertron Earthrise Alternate Universe Optimus Prime, or Dead Optimus Prime. Oops, there I go, bumping the camera. Alright, and that does it for our first set of alt mode comparisons. It's now time for comedy portion number 1 of our show tonight. And of course, you know, if you've watched my reviews before, you know that the comedy portion is where I attempt to transform this Transformer. And in the instructions, this is he comes in this mode in the box without all the, you know, the extra pieces on him. So we'll go ahead and pull those off. But this is how he comes, and the instructions show that you have to change him from tank mode to robot mode, and then to plane mode. And I'm going to see if I can just go straight to plane mode with it. So this may work, it may not. But the first thing you want to do is open this cross looking piece on the cupola, whatever, the top part of the tank where the gun is, and you just flip the gun all the way into the back, or all the way inside of it, and then close the flap back down. Then you want to raise that up, Then you untab these and they tab in here where this tab is in this slot. No, that's not correct. This slot and this tab. So slot and the tab here. And same thing. Well, it didn't come loose on this side. I guess you kind of need to do this first. This part of the tread folds back and you can see there's a tab on it right here in a slot. So I guess I need to do that on this side too. And then they also, there's a tab here and a slot here. So untab that. And I want to say this piece untabs. There's 2 tabs right here and 2 slots right here. And then this whole assembly lifts up as well. These 2 little wing thingies fold down. And then you can see there's a double hinge right here, and there's also a tab here and a slot right here. And I've only transformed this guy once, so I may be having to pause and go look at the directions. This piece right here, it opens up and there's 2 slots on either side of the cockpit and 2 tabs right there. And where we're going into robot mode, you know, we'd flip this over. We're not doing that yet. So you want to open the bottom of the cockpit up and you want to try and get the nose cone out, and it's not the easiest to get out. Well, I'll say that when I first did it, it wasn't. So, but it does have a little piece right here. You can kind of get your fingernail on it and flip it up enough to get your hands on it. And then it just goes straight out like that. Then that piece closes back up. Then you can close this back up. The side pieces here are on a hinge here and here, and you can see there's a hooked tab right here that goes in this hole. Oops, do not like that cover. So then straighten that up. And you can see on this hole here, there's a large rectangular shape here. That's the slot for this tab here. But before we do that, that off. Come back here, separate the jet parts from each other, and then flip the wings out. And they're not tabbed in or anything, they just flip up. Well, I'll say they're not. Yes, they are. There's a tab right here and a slot for it right there. So, and you want to lift these up as well. In fact, do that before you straighten the wing out all the way. Then the two jets, they just clip back together. And you try to get the arms lined up. And sometimes this top half gets a little off from the rest of it. So sometimes you have to play with it just a little bit to get these tabs to line up. I feel like I missed something there. That perhaps. And yeah, this piece is floppy and it wants to get in the way. Then once you get those in place, just kind of straighten the arms up a little bit and flip these covers back down. Oops, that arm was turning the complete wrong way. So, alright. There is that. And then you can see right here, there's a slot here and a slot over here, which will correspond to these two tabs. And you just close this whole section up right there. And try to get those tabs and slots lined up. Not always the easiest thing. Close that back up. This I want to say goes back here. And right here you have the landing gear, which does fold out, and you just straighten the wings up. Then you got these two panels right here, and you just flip those up. And there we have Blitzwing in his second alt mode, Airplane. And as far as the accessories go, I'm having to use my tweezers here because once you get these pegged in, they don't like to come out very easily. But you will need to remove the Pimp Daddy hands from the inside here. And then you want to turn this around. And what you have to do is this bottom section of the jet exhaust, or jet exhaust ports, I guess is what you call them. I don't know. I'm not a plane mechanic. I'm not really a mechanic of any kind. But anyway, you get those pointed down, and then the tab right here, the round tab, plugs into this port on the foot, You just do that on both sides. And then you take the hands and just plug them in these ports here. So there's that. Then you have his guns, his blasters, whatever you want to call them. And there's ports right here on the side. These ports, you can put them here. You could put them here if you wanted to, I guess. But just plug those in. There you have it. There's really not a good place for the sword to go. I mean, you can still plug it into this port here, but it's gonna kind of throw stuff off. But, you know, from the top, it's not a bad looking plane. But when you look at it from the front, you see all this tank stuff. It really detracts from the overall look. The side view of it, you know, it's not good either. And the rear view, well, let's just say he has a tail gunner. But again, like I said, if you're looking at it from the top, it's not that bad. So there we have Blitzwing in his jet mode. Now let's do alt mode comparisons number 2. And first up we have the Titans Returns Voyager class, I think he's Voyager class, Blitzwing. And as you can see, this one has those labels, those foil labels on it. But, you know, again, from the top, the plane looks pretty cool. And people give a lot of crap to Titans Returns, but one thing I think that they really did right was the fact that the headmasters, or Titan Masters, all could fit into the cockpit area. Cockpit, driver's seat, whatever, you know. It's there, so I like that. But again, you know, with the plane, again, with triple changer, you know, you generally have some mode suffering there. That's just the name of the game with triple changers, I guess. But that's how he compares up with his previous version. And then here he is with Astro Train in his space shuttle mode. So I think they compare up nicely, although the space shuttle is a little on the small side compared to this jet. And of course, again, we have Titans Returns Legends class Bumblebee. And the Amazon exclusive War for Cybertron Earthrise Alternate Universe or Dead Optimus Prime. And, you know, as far as, you know, sizing up to a plane, I think that scale's okay. And that, my friends, completes our look at comparison number 2. And now, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to comedy portion of the show number 2, where I see if I can transform this Transformer and put him in his robot mode. So first we'll take the guns off, and then we'll fold in the landing gear. Then, well, don't open that up yet. Let's get this nose cone taken care of. So open that up and just flip this back down in there. Close it back up. I'm gonna open that up and untab this section again, and just go ahead and flip that on over and spin the head around, and then close this up. And again, there's 2 slots on either side of the cockpit, and there's these 2 tabs that just go in there, and if you got it lined up right, they'll snap right in there. Hey, awesome. So, this whole section again lifts up, and then these sections untab from here, and they tab back into these. And we'll do that on both sides. Then we'll flip these panels down. And get the legs apart at the jets here. You can see I bumped the camera. But you can see there's 2 tabs here and 2 slots above or under. But spread the arms out a little bit. And then as far as the legs go, you can see there's the knee hinge right here. And there's a slot here and a tab right here, and it untabs, and there's this like double hinged joint here, and then this tab will go into this slot. And once you have that done, you can start closing this wing assembly up. And you can see there's a tab here and a slot here, and a tab here and a slot here. So you just want to make sure that those are lined up. You fold this last wing part down. Of course, it has a tab here and a slot here. So you just want to kind of make sure all of that is lined up properly, which apparently it's not. And there we go, now it is. And then we'll want to do the same thing over here on the other side. And tab here, straighten out, tab back in, straighten out, fold the wing over, fold the wing tip over, and then just make sure all those tabs are lined up. And again, mine are not. Still not. What the heck? Something is holding up this tab here in the front. may just be the stuff doesn't like to go together sometimes. That is the case. Its tolerances aren't quite right sometimes. Or I may just not have something lined up properly. Alright, let me pause this for a second and take a look at it. Well, for whatever reason, mine will not line up. Well, it lines up. It's just something just ain't quite right there. I don't know what it is. But it closes up good enough, I suppose. As far as the feet go, turn these silver things out, then spread the jet exhausts apart, and then you can see there's a little tab right there, and there's a little bitty slot right here on the foot, and it goes forward like that. It looks a little weird, but that's the way it goes. Now, straighten those back up for a moment, and then we'll deal with this part, which just comes up over the shoulders like that, and then you'll see the two tabs right here and the two slots right here, which go together like that. And you want to go ahead and get the hands out, and you can see this piece sticking out right here. Just kind of use that to roll the arm out. Then this panel here folds down like that, and this whole piece slides or twists around, and then you can see there's a hollow bit right here. Well, that's what this is for. It goes and covers that up. Not the best, but at least Hasbro is trying now. And do the same thing on this side. Flip that around. And then, oops, forgot to pop the hand out. You definitely want to do that first. And then just put that in place. This piece just pushes down, and then there's these two slots right here, and the two tabs here, and that's all supposed to go together. This is supposed to clip over this, I think, but it just doesn't. The tolerance is off. And straighten these up a little bit, then flip the wings or the little wingy parts out. And then straighten stuff back up. And there, ladies and gentlemen, we have Blitzwing in his robot mode. Now let's take a look at Blitzwing in his robot mode. And I'll have to say, this is probably the best mode of the three. And, you know, if one of them has to be the best, it needs to be the robot mode, in my opinion. Yours, of course, may vary, and that's okay. But he looks nice. I mean, you know, he's got kibble, but what, you know, there's not many Transformers who transform that don't have it. Yeah, I will say though, his backpack is a little messy. A little messy. Let's take a look at his articulation. At the head, he can look up that far. and you can look not really down. There is some slight waggle. He doesn't chicken neck. He can do the full exorcist, so that's cool. At the shoulders, if you flip this little panel up here, the arm can go back about that far, and it can go forward that far. So not an extreme range of motion there. It will go out to a 90-degree angle. There is a cut at the upper bicep for a full 360-degree rotation, and it's on one of those double mushroom pegs. And then he does have a 360-degree rotation at the wrist. And we forgot elbow bend. Let's get to that. Elbow bend is slightly better than 90 degrees, but not by much. He does have a cut at the waist, and he will do a full 360-degree rotation there. At the hips, he'll give you that much of the splits. Kicks forward that far, and only kicks back that far. This plate right here, I guess it's a butt plate, gets in the way. He does, I won't really say it's a cut, but he does have at the upper thigh a 360-degree swivel. At the knee, gives you that much bend, so that's actually pretty good. And then no tilt at the ankle, but he does have about 90 degrees worth of rocker, so that's pretty neat. Now, as far as his weapons go, you know, you can put his guns in his hands. You can put a sword in his hand. So, that's cool. Again, with the sword, when he's not using it, it goes in this port on the turret. So there's that. And when he's not using his laser guns, laser rifles, they peg into these ports on either side of the turret. If I can get it in there. It doesn't want to go. Get in your home. Alright, there we go. That's better. So, I got this one turned around backwards. Alright, so how does he use his Pimp Daddy hands? Well, you leave them in this configuration like the jet mode. And we'll utilize this peg again. But what we'll do with it is you turn his fists that way, I think. And then he just holds it. Oh, that might be the wrong way. I have to turn it that way. No, not right. Turn the hands backwards. Well, I say backwards. I guess it's forward. finally. Have to mash on it to get it in there. And even then, they don't stay the greatest. Unless I'm putting them on upside down, which I could be. No, they fit the same either way. Maybe. I don't know. Alright, there he goes. And there he is with his Pimp Daddy Energon hands. Which I'll have to say, this is not my favorite accessory. I really don't like these. But there it is, ladies and gentlemen. Blitzwing in his robot mode with all of his accessories. It's time for my favorite part of a Transformers review, robot mode comparisons. And here we have the Titans Returns Voyager class Blitzwing. And as you can see, he's quite a bit taller, at least a head and shoulder taller than the Legacy, who is a leader class. So, you know, it's not all based on size, but you know, if that's interesting that the same character in two different classes, the smaller, traditionally smaller class is bigger than the traditionally bigger class. So that's interesting to note. Here he is with Astro Train, and Astro Train is a little bit taller, but of course he's got his platforms on. So and here we have Titans Returns Legends class Bumblebee. And the Walmart exclusive Netflix War for Cybertron Earthrise leader Optimus Prime. And you can see Optimus is taller than Blitzwing also. That, my friends, does it for comparisons. For final thoughts on Transformers Legacy Leader Class Blitzwing, I have to say the robot mode looks the part. The articulation, especially in the arms, it could stand to be a little bit better. I think they could have engineered it a little better, but that's me speaking as someone who is not an engineer. You know, these pointing forward is kind of an odd look. I guess you don't really have to put them that way if you don't want to. You could flip them back to where it maybe looks a little more logical. Of course, both alt modes suffer from him being a triple changer. The plane mode more so than the tank mode, but still that piece of the cockpit sticking out of the tank is a little odd looking. But, you know, most Transformers collectors are going to display their piece in robot mode rather than one of the alt modes anyway. Mostly. You might not do it that way, and if you don't, that's okay too. I have to say, I don't like these at all. This is just not something I will ever use in my display. I just don't like it. So there's that. Like I said, so articulation problems, you know, the robot mode again is the best mode, and you know, there were some G1 bots that had less articulation in the arms than he did, or than this Blitzwing, Legacy Blitzwing does. And so, you know, your Transformer transforms, sometimes it's a mixed bag. And, you know, if you're happy with the Titans Returns Blitzwing, this one can be a pass for you. I wasn't particularly thrilled with that figure either, and you know, this one, the bot mode looks a lot better. I think it cleans up a lot better, but still, I think there's room for improvement. And that's all my opinion. Your opinion may vary, and that's okay. That does it for the review, or I can just ramble on, but we'll cap it off right there. Thank you for watching this video, or any of my other videos that you may have run across, which I hope is all of them. Only support from viewers like you make this programming possible. Each of you does count, and I do appreciate each and every single view that I receive. Thank you, and thank you so very much for supporting this channel through viewing. Comment below, like, share, subscribe if you'd like to see more reviews, or just to help the channel out further, or both. That's even better. And don't forget to ding that bell so that in the future you will be notified as my new content becomes available. That's a wrap, folks. I'll see you next time.